Get it? A heel turn. When a good guy in wrestling becomes bad, what is it supposed to do? Last time I checked, it was supposed to add dimension to a gimmick or character. It was supposed to help a character. You know, give him that little boost. You know, hey, you know, this will help you out, get you more TV time. You know, maybe lead to something. I mean, Chris Jericho's a heel, wonderful. You know, like you said on Tough Enough, how many times was he world champion? 6. How many times was he as a face? 0. But once again, if it's helpful, if it's necessary, I am all for it. I am behind it. I relish it. You know, especially when it's done in such a way that's different. That makes it special. Now I wish I could say the same about Paige's heel turn. I still put the quote marks up with it because a lot of people were claiming for it. A lot of people wanted this to happen. I wasn't one of them. I just never felt like this was made sense. I know I'm asking a lot out of professional wrestling. You know, like I said, show with undead wizards, kidnappings, assault charges, and evil male cheerleaders. I'm expecting sense out of that. Yeah. So, why do I have an issue with this? I'll tell you why. By the way, welcome to The Guido Goes Off. I am the Guido from Mike and the Guido. We're still doing Mike and the Guido. This is just something a little different. This is me getting things, you know, being able to zero in on certain issues. In this episode, I'm zeroing in on Paige's heel turn. If you're watching this and you think it's all this is good, this can only help. More power to you. I just look at how things have progressed to this point, and you know, given that, why this might not be the greatest idea. So, let's give a little history lesson. Paige, anti-diva, diva of tomorrow, someone going against the grain, prefers leather to lace, black hair to blonde hair, being a wrestler that plays being a pretty girl instead of a pretty girl playing at wrestler, which a good majority of women wrestlers in WWE since the post-war era, I want to say 2003 on, have been. You know, she's not a failed model. She's not a failed actress. She's someone who grew up in wrestling. You know, became a part of it, and wants to be the best wrestler she can. You know, you get all these opportunities to do stuff. Yay, all well and good. I'm guessing. I'm not gonna, you know, psyches aside. So why am I not a fan of Paige's heel turn? Here's why. Ever since the departure of AJ, and the way, and you know, with Natalya having to be Mrs. Tyson Kidd, and but Paige has pretty much been the biggest face in the company. The Bellas have not been. They're not static faces. They are popular against. You know, they are. What they are. Tweeners, true tweeners. Who they face determines if they're face or heel. If prior to this, if they were against Paige, they were heels. If they were against Naomi and Tamina, they were faces. If they were against someone else, it didn't really matter. No, everybody was off buying merch or going to the bathroom. And that was the thing. That's why they felt the need. The fans wanted, to get started the Give Divas a Chance hashtag, and then the Divas Revolution hashtag. Culminated on July 19th with the arrival of the NXT Divas. Then they divided them up into teams, and then they made it team warfare, factional warfare. It was basically the gang war era of the late '90s, where you had without the racial stereotypes and drama. Why am I bringing this up? Basically, the reason is to set the table. Paige had been frustrated. She couldn't. She had been. A lot of fans have been frustrated that it had only been Nikki and Paige over the Divas title prior to this. They were the only strong characters in the Divas division at the time. Naomi's, I'm sure she's a wonderful lady. Her character wasn't. A lot of people didn't figure her character was strong enough. If you're a Naomi fan, more power to you. I just expect more. To me, it was even worse. She just sat there like a statue. So you have and Bree. Alicia Fox is out there on the fringe, and this kind of sucks. But and so then you have Paige asking for help, which Coley went against the character. And so then Stephanie McMahon, out of the kindness of her heart, because women in athletics have grown by leaps and bounds. Because we have women like Ronda Rousey and Serena Williams doing wonderful things, even though this has been going on for decades. Use those two examples of how women have progressed. What about Mia Hamm getting soccer started in the United States? Yes, for those of you not from the United States, I know I didn't call it football. We have something else called football here. But still, there was, it wasn't until, reshaping not only women, but helping to gain popularity for an entire sport in the United States. Which is oddly enough because it's the most popular sport in the world. Strong women have existed since recorded history. I mean, we could go all the way back to Cleopatra or to Boudica. Seriously, look her up. She sacked London twice. Badass, right there. These strong women throughout history, but only these two examples, which just happen to be fairly recent. That's what we're going with. So anyway, it started it started the Divas Revolution, which was a fan plea for higher quality entertainment, once again turned into a buzzword by the WWE, making the three teams, adding the NXT Divas, and they got the team warfare going on. Really, nothing happening. All a big smoke screen, because was anybody going after Nikki's title? Was anybody going after the Divas Championship? For like 2 months. No one got a shot at the Divas title. That I know of. I mean, if I could be wrong, and if I am, there's a comment section right there. The WWE, and the WWE, you got the change you wanted. You asked for the NXT fans asked for the NXT Divas to come up. I was under the impression that, yay, that's all well and good, but nothing is going to change. That it is just more names to put in what we called on Mike and the Guido the Divas booking jar. And essentially, I was right. Nothing changed. There was no development of these characters. You had to basically watch NXT to know who these people were. This is what happened. I'm Sasha Banks. I'm the boss. And having crickets lying around here is kind of helpful. I'm Becky Lynch. I'm Becky Lynch. I'm Irish and I wear goggles. And I'm Charlotte. I'm Ric Flair's daughter. Yeah, and exactly. That's the problem. Once again, there was no development of characters. There was no compelling. You can have all this team warfare all you want, but nobody was going for the main prize. Nobody was going after the Divas title. It was all essentially a smokescreen to keep the title on Nikki. Then you go through SummerSlam. We got more after SummerSlam got more individualized because Team PCB won this Divas Elimination Tag match, which was basically just a triangle match. One team got beat, they went left. It was during that whole weekend where the crowd started going nuts and crazy because they weren't getting enough Sasha Banks. Which, don't get me wrong, Sasha and Bayley had an incredible match 2 weeks prior. Moving on, different tirade, wonderful match, watch it, and whatever. But WWE, okay, so Team PCB won this, and Stephanie said, well, basically, what's going to happen is these 3 team members are going to have a beat the clock challenge. And so that's what happened. Becky Lynch had a match. Then Charlotte had a match. Finished her opponent rather quickly. It only gave Paige a minute 40 seconds against Sasha Banks. Now you're talking about 2 strong workers. Two of the best female talent in modern history. And they're only getting a minute 40? And so you kind of had the screwjob finish, where Paige got screwed out of it, and Charlotte got the opportunity to face Nikki at Night of Champions. It's funny because the other 2 had members of Team Bella, but yet Nikki didn't wrestle. There was underlying things there. Apparently something about Nikki having a shoulder injury. I can make all the dirty Nikki Bella jokes I wanted this time, but I'm trying to get this out. You want the dirty Nikki Bella jokes? Watch Mike and the Guido. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to find those. Or Twitter. We got plenty of them there. Anyway. So this led Paige down a road of frustration because she could never seem, because then they tried to start this feud between her and Sasha, but nothing really happened of it. It just was, you had 2 matches where Sasha won, but it was because of the interference of Team Bad. And then you had 1 match that went to no contest where these 2 girls are knocking the holy crap out of each other, throwing each other everywhere. Which if the women want to do what the men do, I say let them. If they can be safe about it and they can add to a compelling, to something compelling, I am all for it. Anyway, so this led to the situation of Charlotte facing Nikki. Well, Charlotte failed the week before to take the title off Nikki because of Bella interference, Twin Magic, which Why are they still using that? Because it's clear that Nikki and Brie do not look alike anymore. So fast forwards to Night of Champions, where the AJ fans are already livid because that means Nikki's the longest reigning Divas champion, and a lot of people were mad. I myself personally was not terribly happy about it because of the fact that why did we do this if we were just going to let Nikki keep the title and break AJ's record? And if we're going to one for just kind of taking the Divas title and putting it on the shelf for a while, the same way they did the WWE Championship last year. I mean, seriously, it wasn't defended for 5 months. Anyway, so Night of Champions, Charlotte beats Nikki in a match that was all. I can't even say it was all right. I cannot even say, hey, this was a great match that really moved things forward. It wasn't. Ah! Anyway. So now I finally get to the meat and potatoes of this. The night after Night of Champion, Charlotte's the champion. She's thanking her dad. She's making a teary speech that would be perfect in the Hall of Fame. And then Paige takes the mic and calls out the bullshit. She did what she did, and the thing is, did she really like? No, Paige basically echoed every complaint the fans have had. I've had this saying for a while. People don't want to hear what you think. They want to hear what they think in a different voice. And like I said, this is what happened. Everybody's talking about the Paigebomb. Paige even called it that. All she did was echo the sentiments of the fans. That Becky Lynch was irrelevant. That Team Bad was basically spinning their wheels. That Natalya, did she even work for the company anymore? That the Bellas, the only reason they were where they were is because of, well, we all know, their personal relationship. And calling out the fact that Charlotte is the only reason Charlotte was in the company, let alone Divas champion, was because of her old man. The fact that she was absolutely that she's absolutely right, honestly, is irrelevant. It's the fact, and that was my problem. You're turning heel the strongest face you have in the division. Charlotte and Becky Charlotte has had very little, if any, development, and with Becky, it has been worse. You just have a funny sounding chick with orange hair. I think that's basically all we knew. And don't get me wrong, I liked Becky Lynch. She is a great worker. She's fun to watch, fun to listen to. Her promos are creative, but there's been no development. There's not been allowed any development. So you took the most stable face in the company and are turning them heel. That's also the problem. There was no reinforcement. Did she attack Charlotte? Did she attack Becky? Did she attack Ric Flair? No. Paige said her piece, walked off. And then who shows up but Nikki Bella to crap all over it. It couldn't be left alone because the emphasis was off of Nikki Bella, and we can't have that now, can we? Moving on. So, like I said, with a heel turn, if it's going to be a heel turn, you need that reinforcement. And on Smack, and later on, you had the conversation between Paige and Natalya. And then on SmackDown, you had the pseudo apology with Paige blasting Natalya again. And don't get me wrong, it was great what Paige said about Nikki on Raw this last week, which would be the 28th, yeah, the September 28th Raw. Because Nikki thought she was going to be cute and say with friends like Paige, who needs enemies, and then Paige said, "Well, with boyfriends like you, who needs ambition?" As much as I appreciate a good poke at Nikki, and then that's the thing. It's what you have here is there is no development to the Paige character. That's the thing, and that's what a heel turn is supposed to do. It's supposed to help add a dimension, help develop a character. But that completely disagrees with how the Divas division has been run for at least the past few years, and that there is no development. That essentially every diva is the same character, just in a different form. I mean, at their base, at their core, they're all the same character, a catty girl with mental issues. And maybe this goes back to the fact that maybe with the financial climate, they're trying to get the network off the ground. They still don't have the financial resources to put into this development. But honestly, you could do something. I mean, longer matches are wonderful. A wider variety of wrestlers is wonderful. But people want a reason to care. Why are we... And above all else, do not use your reality show to dictate your storyline, which is essentially what this Paige Natalya thing is. They're, on Total Divas, if you watch it, and if you think about this for just a minute, the way it's edited, you have Natalya, basically being the mother hen, keeping all the chicks in line. If someone does something that they probably shouldn't do, who's the first person there? Natalya, trying to talk sense into them, saying, "Is this a good idea? Is this..." mothering them, nurturing them. And ever since her appearance on the show, she has been doing that a lot with Paige. And this is where you get into some psychology issues. Because it goes kind of into the way it's portrayed, and this I think is about accurate. This is Paige's first true taste of being on her own, and she's still kind of growing into that. She's probably gonna make some bad decisions. She's probably gonna make some bad decisions. Make some poor. She's talked about her bad financial decisions, which we've all gone through. It's whether we can build from that and learn from that. That is all wonderful, but it's just much like the way that her character in WWE is portrayed. It's even worse on Total Divas, that she's portrayed as a rebellious child. That she shouldn't make her own decisions. That she She needs constant supervision and constant, what's the word I'm looking for? That she needs to be coddled and scolded and pounded into what is a right and proper WWE diva. Yeah. Let's look at what their which hilariously, their definition of a right and proper WWE diva is someone who uses everything at her disposal to get what she wants, whether it's the best clothes, the best accessories, the best place to live, the best treatment in the locker room, the best, the best food, the best accommodation, And do I have to spell it out for you? Yeah, that is the perfect WWE diva. Yeah, that one. And that's what I have the problem with. It's once again WWE using the Divas division on wrestling as a commercial for Total Divas. Even though we got, I think as I'm filming this later tonight, is the season finale. Up until this point, I have thought that the Paige character has been a great role model for children, which has been the target audience of WWE since its inception. If you think I'm wrong, why is John Cena so wildly popular? How many of you have gone to a live event and seen the amount of kids that are decked head to toe with "You can't see me," hustle, loyalty, respect, all these great messages that are all well and good, and are words to live by, for children. Is this, and is that wrong? No. But my problem is when you have this perfect example, for especially young women today. I mean, young women are constantly bombarded with these messages of your body isn't good enough, your personality isn't good enough. That unless you use these products, do these things, act this way, wear these clothes, be promiscuous, be something you're not. All these messages out there that, when you have somebody who's basically saying, to heck with all that, be who you are. That is all you need to be. If you're different, that is not just something to be, that is something to be celebrated. You have that message. And yet, you are going to toss it aside and basically book this person as just another diva to fall in line. That's what makes no sense to me. That's where I have the problem. And that's why I'm going off. Because it makes no sense if you have this message, to simply, sweep it under the rug. That's where it makes no sense to me. Because what it basically says is it doesn't matter how hard you work. Being different isn't good, is what it essentially says, which is, that which boggles the mind to me. I'm the Guido. You have been warned.